I went down a rabbit hole with the Anunnaki.
I don't think you went down a rabbit hole.
That's my rabbit hole. It's okay. I went down it, and I was home. I was quarantined. So
let's blame it on the quarantine.
So I went down the rabbit hole of the Anunnaki, and I found out that, you know what, it doesn't matter, because we're all, once the Anunnaki get here, we're all their slaves.
We're gonna go back to retail space.
They're making a long story short about what the Anunnaki is. Basically, according to the tale, whatever it is, they made all the pyramids. They made all that stuff. They did all that stuff, and
a superior being,
and we are basically their slaves. So once they get here, they just enslave all of us. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Chinese, there's nothing right now, man.
They love us all as slaves.
They don't give up. So that's, long story short. There's a lot more to the story, and there's a lot of interesting things that they talk about. How there's been a missing link. Of how humans got here, whether it's God or whether it's evolution or whether it's not. But there's something that nobody really knows how we got here.
Nobody knows.
Nobody really knows how we got here.
There's beliefs. They're all theories.
Everything's a theory.
Darwin's theory.
Or a belief.
Yeah, or a belief.
It's a belief, right? So you either you believe, because a theory doesn't make it a fact.
No.
A theory is just a theory. Like the Big Bang Theory, that's still a theory. It's not a fact. If how we evolved from a fish to an ape to a human, that's still a theory because nobody really knows, right? And did we come from Adam and Eve? Nobody really knows either. That's also a theory or a belief. If there's a God that created us, a lot of us like to believe.
I like to believe that story. That story is pretty nice.
But technically, anything that made us is a God.
Exactly.
Right?
But then I start thinking, if a God made us, who made him? You see, it's like, it doesn't end.
Who made the Anunnaki? If the Anunnaki made us, who made the Anunnaki?
Who made that? A being more powerful than them.
A being more powerful than them. But they're able to, because they have these stones out in Egypt and the pyramids.
Mesopotamia, right?
Mesopotamia, where they weigh like 2.4 tons each stone. And they brought them from 2,000 miles away. And
there was no cars back then.
There was
airplanes.
Airplanes, or I don't even know if they had boats like that.
Yeah.
That could carry
that magnitude.
That can carry tons. How did they do it?
And they flood. Didn't they flood?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story, and it kind of combines it with the stories of the Bible, and not just the Bible, but a lot of religious beliefs.
Is that all? I believe all religious beliefs probably come from that one.
Yeah, and we all believe some sort of another that we have a creator who created us. We call him a creator. Some people call him God, but supposedly the Anunnaki said, all right. They had these slaves, and the slaves rebelled against them, so they got rid of them, and they needed to create something else. So they kind of mixed a little bit of their DNA with some of the
natives that were on the planet already, right?
The natives of the planet, which are called Neanderthals, maybe, right? And then that's where we came from. So I don't know. I went down the rabbit hole, and it's fun. Right, because it's interesting. It's another view on things, right? And it's fun to even think about stuff like that.
Of course, I think it is.
Man, look at that. But that means we're the aliens.
So I wonder how they created us. Did they create us out of vibration, or did they create us out of atom? Like
DNA.
What? Yeah, but
and that supposedly we were born sterile, or everybody that
was a male.
Was sterile, males. And then they said, well, you know what? It's easier if they just kind of procreate. So let's let them create it. And that's when females were invented. And then, so again, that kind of relates to the Bible. Adam and Eve, that Eve came from the rib of Adam, right? And so that's what they're kind of implying, right? To a certain extent. And I don't know if it's true, but that's what kind of says about the Anunnaki. And then they made us, and then we kind of just spread out, and then I think they had to leave, and we just kind of stood here, and they come around every 35,000 or 3,500 years or something like that. And then once they get here,
they create total chaos because of their planet. Their planet's so big.
And they come so close to us.
It pulls.
Their planet orbits our solar system, but just in a different kind of scale.
In a longer scale.
In a longer scale that it takes.
It takes them 3,500 years to go around.
Either 3,500 years or 35,000 years.
One of the two.
Right, so.
35 is the lucky number.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's 2 zeros or 3 zeros.
Well, think about it. If it's 35,000 years, if they passed by 35,000 years ago, how old do they see the pyramids being? Like, how long ago were the Aztecs here? How long ago were the Egyptians here? I forget, but I think it was BC, right? Yeah, it was BC.
Before Christ.
It was before Christ. And I don't think it was that many thousand years before Christ.
I don't think so either.
Like the Egyptians and stuff like that. So maybe the belief is, or theory is that the Egyptians just kind of passed by and they found these pyramids that had already been there from way back 35, or at that point, it's been 2,000 years since
that's right.
Jesus Christ.
Because if they were nomads and they were traveling from one side to another,
they passed by as a city that's stable, has water, has canals, it has everything, irrigation, right? They're like, this thing looks pretty good. This fish.
I am the king of this land.
But then they also said that they left people that only made across the bloodline, and that's what they call a royal bloodline. That means they actually control the earth, and they've been controlling the earth because their order has to go around, but they left a bloodline that controls us all.
So there are lords.
There are lords. We don't know.
Who are the lords? Imagine if they like turn into these weird things in their heads.
But that's where the whole thing is, where they come out and they say that there's a reptilian god or a reptilian.
And you've seen them.
That rules around the whole, that rules all over us. And then, of course, when people say about reptilian things, they're like, that's BS. But maybe they say reptilian so we can think, that's BS, because we don't want to think as a reptile as being one of the gods. But maybe it's just a person that looks like us.
What was the name of the in G.I. Joe? The snake?
Cobra Kai? No. That's Cobra Kai. My karate mind went straight to karate.
Right when you you said reptilian, I said, oh my God, like G.I. Joe.
Yeah, what was his name?
I forgot.
I think it was Cobra. G.I. Joe what?
It was
bad guy.
It wasn't Splinter was the bad guy from the Ninja Turtles. And what was his name? Oh my God.
It was Cobra.
I remember Transformers, which was Decepticons. But what was his name? Autobots and Decepticons. G.I. Joe, Cobra. Cobra what? What was his name?
What is this guy's name?
I never.
Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander. There's a Cobra Commander out there.